few comments on the SONA speech delivered by the President last Friday. Mr. Speaker, I would draw attention to page 48 of the speech under the water and sanitation sector. Mr. Speaker, the President acknowledges that we've expanded water supply and sanitation facilities across the country. Major projects completed include Kafulafuta water supply system, the Kazungula water supply and sanitation, the Kafiwe bulk supply, and the Kaputa supply and sanitation projects. Mr. Speaker, what the project was acknowledging here is that government is a going concern. You will recall that the water sector up to 2016 was a portfolio function under the Ministry of Local Government and Housing, and had a privilege to save the nation in that ministry. These projects, Mr. Speaker, Kafiwe bulk and Kafulafuta bulk, were contracted in the year 2014. I took the two cab memos to have these projects contracted under debt. The Kafulafuta being around somewhere $430 million, and Kafiwe somewhere around 320 thereabout. When we are saying, you go and look at the scope of the works, Mr. Speaker, all I'm trying to say is that even as people talk about dates, they should know that some of the dates that were contracted were life-saving, because it is known that water is life. And I saw how proud the President was to go and launch the Kafulafuta bulk, which is to Kata, Fondola, Luansha, Masaiti, and a few surrounding areas. Because if we didn't do that, Mr. Speaker, at that stage, this time around, Kafulafuta was struggling to treat water for the people. If we didn't do that, Mr. Speaker, the cholera that you used to see in Kanyama and all the surrounding areas in Lusaka would have continued. So even when you are condemning the debt, you must know that some of the debts that we contracted were life-saving, such as this. These other two projects were contracted when we created the Ministry of Water, where my colleague is, to ensure that our people had guaranteed water sector to deal with non-communicable diseases. I was happy to see my mother, one of the Vice President, go to commission the Kaputa water sanitation, because that's the only project that is there. And I'm praying that my mother will make sure that there's a road, that contract which was cancelled. That will be a very big challenge for you, because that project is a monumental one. That's what governments do. Leave something. So even when we're talking about CDF, yes, CDF is constitutional. We made it constitutional in 2016, constitution. So every successful government now are bound to ensure that the CDF is appropriated for. It's in the constitution. Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, government should make sure that you prioritize those capital projects. Yes, you have restructured the debt, but you should also know that that debt was properly contracted, such as the example the President was giving here. Mr. Speaker, I was happy to hear the President say, we as a country, we should make sure that we settle certain matters out of court. I agree with him 100%. Yes, criminal matters should go to the courts, and all those clear cases. All you are saying, and I hope the Attorney General was listening, is that apart from business transactions that can be sorted out of courts, there are also certain matters that just require collective wisdom. Why should this era, Mr. Speaker, we as a country should be making headlines that wizards have been jailed for 2 years and so and so? The question, Mr. Speaker, the President has informed the nation publicly that he doesn't recognize witchcraft. We were all listening. But here we are, and people are calling us. Now you have got witch doctors as magistrates. Because to determine witchcraft, you need a witch doctor.
Yes.
So now those who were determining to say those two wizards were witches, were they witch doctors now working in the subordinate courts? So those are the issues that require. Mr. Speaker, we have reached the international headlines.
Yeah, for wrong reason.
For wrong reasons, wizards. This era, where we are supposed to be talking about AI. Where wisdom, Mr. Speaker, should have prevailed, all of us collectively, we could have resolved the issue of the former head of state. It didn't need the Attorney General to drag the poor widow into an international court, a foreign court. Those are the matters, Mr. Speaker. The President was sitting there telling us, let's take the matters.
Honorable, that issue is quite sensitive. I think as humans, let's avoid making political capital out of it. Let's ensure that we should be as humanly possible as we can. I know since Tuesday when we started debating the presidential speech, one or two people have tried to make political capital out of it. I think we all know we are Zambians and we are humans. So avoid. You can talk about other things. I think even Madam Speaker earlier, she guided. You've got a lot to talk about your constituents, about the economy. You've got a lot to talk about. You can talk about what is happening in Shiwang'andu. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well guided. Mr. Speaker, in Shiwang'andu we have at least got 1 megawatt, so power at least people are not as stressed as the people in the urban area. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues have lamented about this issue of power shortages. We have had the minister coming here announcing the emergency tariffs. Which emergency tariffs, Mr. Speaker? He said people needed to pay more so that we could import power for them to have enough hours of power. Alas, Mr. Speaker, people are paying high tariffs for the power which is just visiting them in the night. 03 to check how they are sleeping. 03 to 05 power is gone. Mr. Speaker, how productive are our people going to be? How? So this, we appreciate the President wants us to work with him. And I don't know, we have to hear now the policy from the minister. Or now we can participate as we were invited to make sure that road shading is completed. My colleague talked about the Dubai formula. Quickly, Mr. Speaker, the fuel subsector. We lamented here that in then you are closing will pose a challenge to this nation. People didn't listen. Today, we are paying so much for fuel which is not even available. Madam Speaker visited us in Muchinga. It was a struggle for them to just come back because there were shortages of fuel despite the high prices. So those who have been given jobs to help the president must start working because people who send a message. They are already sending a message. You have seen what is happening across in Malawi. For fuel shortages and power shortages, people are being voted out.
Order.